Hey everyone, how are you doing? I really hope you had a nice holiday and a happy new year. I am here with my last video of the year, and it is a very exciting one that is near and dear to my heart. So I've got this nice little setup. I'm in the office at my parents' house visiting for the holidays, and I have my cup of water here, and I have a lot of books I want to talk about. I'm also wearing one of my favorite shirts. It has a little kitty on it. Got it at a thrift store. I love it. I wear it all the time. And yeah, so today I am going to be talking about a lot of the books that I have purchased or been given in the past, I don't know, maybe a month or so around the holidays. I just wanted to share it with you. Books are just one of my favorite things. I've been a reader since I was a child. I love stories. I love just getting lost in a good book. Reading is my main hobby, honestly. And I'm really excited to share some of these books with you. I have read every single one of these books except for one, which I've started, and I read a good chunk of it. So I tend to do that. That's typically my philosophy when it comes to purchasing books. I don't tend to buy books that I haven't read yet just because I don't know if I liked it. I'm pretty quick to DNF a book, as they say in the internet world, which stands for do not finish. I'm fairly quick to put a book down. I'll give it a couple chapters, 20, 50 pages maybe, but if I'm not jiving with it, if I don't have to read it, I want to really enjoy what I'm reading. So I am not too stingy when it comes to putting down a book. So I don't want to get rid of it, or I don't want to purchase it, bring it into my collection if I don't love it. So all these books I love, and they are some of the best books I've read in the past couple years. Not all, but yeah. So people know I love to read, so that's what most of my friends get me for Christmas, is a book. My parents give me some books for Christmas, and I've gotten a few books at thrift stores. I don't tend to buy books myself for full price at Barnes & Noble or any of the bookstores, just because it seems so pricey. I tend to buy them used whenever I can. Of course, occasionally if there's a book I love or something like that, I'll go buy it. But I tend to be pretty cheap when it comes to books, just because after books are out for a little while, it seems like they really drop dramatically in price. If you wait a year, you can get it for $5 used on Mercari or Poshmark or eBay or something like that. So yeah, okay, well, this is a really long introduction, but told you everything you need to know, so let's get into the books. So I'm going to start, I have them all on a pile on the floor right here, that's why I keep looking down. But I'm going to start with the book that I haven't finished yet, so can't fully recommend it, but I read the entire sample on my library's app, so I really liked it. I think it went about 50 pages in, and that is this. It is The Stationery Shop, and I don't want to say their name wrong. Marjan is the first name. Kamali is what I would guess. Marjan Kamali, Kamali, and this is a love story. It is set, let's see, oh yeah, okay, it's set in 1953 Tehran, and it is about a girl, a teenager in Tehran in 1953, who finds kind of an oasis in a stationery shop in her neighborhood, and she has a positive relationship with the stationery shop owner, and he introduces her to one of his other favorite customers, who is a young man, and a love story ensues. So I'm not a huge romance reader, but this really intrigued me. I love historical fiction. It's one of my favorite genres. So I have not yet finished this, but I'm really excited to do so. So that is The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali. Oh, and I think I should probably also mention that all of these are novels. They're not, I don't tend to read a ton of nonfiction. I do occasionally have something really good. If you have a nonfiction recommendation, I would absolutely love to hear it, because I'm always looking to expand into nonfiction, but I just have trouble finding things that really and truly interest me. Alright, I'm going to go in no particular order here, just the order I set it out on the floor. So next we have a book called This Is Not the Jess Show, and I think it is backwards what you're seeing, but it's called This Is Not the Jess Show by Anna Carey, and it's like Jess and then a new word, show, SHOW. And this is a novel. I think it was published, it might have been published in 2020, okay. And this book I loved. I thought it was really fun, it was easy to read, and it had a twist that I did not see coming. It had elements, not really of science fiction, but just elements of kind of maybe speculative. I don't know if that's even the right word, but basically there was a big twist that I didn't see coming, and I love when books do that. I read all the time, and so sometimes I feel like it's a little tougher to surprise me in novels, and this one sure did. So the book it's set in 1998, and it's about a teenager named Jess, of course, and she is she's dealing with everything that, you know, high schoolers deal with, first crushes, you know, relationships, schoolwork, things like that. But something in her town is strange. Her dog is different, her parents seem different, and everyone starts acting oddly, and she tries to get to the bottom of it. And I know that's a really vague description, but you kind of need to read from the beginning without a whole lot of information so that you can be surprised and see the twist. So yeah, This Is Not the Jess Show. It's pretty short. I think I read it in just a day. It's under 300 pages, and in my edition, it's the print is kind of large, so it's really not a very dense read, if you know what I mean. Okay, next is They Went Left. They Went Left by Monica. I'm not sure if you say it like Hesse or Hesse, Hesse. And I think I follow Monica on Twitter, but she is actually a journalist as well as an author. So this is young adult historical fiction, and it is set in World War II. And basically it is about, it's set in Germany in 1945, and it is about a girl and her family who were separated at a concentration camp, and her journey to find the people. She is not sure if she is lost or not. She's not sure if they're alive, and she sets out on this journey to find them and to see if she can reunite with some of her loved ones in Europe in World War II. Great read. I absolutely love Monica's novels. I think I've read 2 of her other novels, and both wonderful. I think it's just such a talent when people are able to write historical fiction. Of course I wasn't there, but it just feels so real, and I think it gives me a lot of empathy for people to think about what previous generations have gone through. So this is a really good read if you like World War II fiction, and don't let the fact that it's young adult sway you or, you know, deter you from reading it, because it's really well done. It's really well done. I think that adults can easily enjoy it. Okay, next is another YA. This is Fat Chance, Charlie Vega, and it features Latinx characters, and there's a lot of diversity in this one, which I really like. So it is about a girl named Charlie, and oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say the author. It's by Crystal Maldonado, Maldonado, and again, it's called Fat Chance, Charlie Vega, Vega. It's a really cute cover. I love this. And it is about a girl named Charlie who is, of course, a teenager, and her, you know, when I'm saying this, it sounds a lot more cliche than it turned out to be. It was really heartwarming, but it does sound a little cliche when I'm looking over the cover again. But it's about a girl named Charlie who is fat, and her best friend Amelia, who is slim and very popular, and basically some twists and turns that go along with that. There's a lot of really interesting, heartwarming adventure in this book, and just it it's very character driven, and I just loved, you really fall in love with the characters quickly. I didn't love the first chapter, so if you start reading it, don't let that deter you. It's really great. It's a great read. I teared up a little bit because I was so moved by the characters and their growth, and sometimes I have to remind myself when I read young adult fiction, it's like, you know, these people are teenagers, they're not going to act like adults would or should, so I try to cut YA characters a little bit of slack. There's a line, of course, sometimes YA characters act just completely insane and dumb, and it's hard to relate with them, but this one, you really end up rooting for the characters. Next one is one many people may know and love or hate, but this is Complications by Danielle Steele. I love the cover and the colors. It's really pretty. So I have read one other Danielle Steele novel. What was it? The Duchess or The Mistress or something like that. And I will say this about Danielle Steele. She knows how to draw you in, because you want to know what happens. Say what you want about her, you know, about her level of craft, but she knows how to plot. Let me tell you what, she just, you start reading and you're thinking, I don't know about this, I don't know about this, but then you just keep reading and reading, you get to know the characters and you want to know what happens. She really drives the plot along, and you just keep wanting to turn the page. You're like, oh, okay, you know, she hooks you in, and she keeps reeling and reeling. So so yeah, I really like this. I guess I'll tell you what it's about. Basically, it is about a scandal and tragedy that erupts against the backdrop of an exclusive Paris hotel. So it basically, a hotel has closed down for renovations. It's very exclusive, it's very highbrow, very high class in Paris, and it's kind of about a lot of the guests that come and go, and of course a mystery and a tragedy. But it's really good if you want something that is kind of fast-paced, that you can just pick up. It's not, you know, it's not too deep, it's not too weighty or anything like that, but it's definitely entertaining. She knows how to entertain. She's an entertainer, and she can plot her little heart out. So yeah, that is Complications by Danielle Steele. Really liked it. Next, we will do Cinder. I read this, I think, for the first time in high school. This is by Marissa Meyer, and this is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I've never read the entire series. I've actually reread this several times, but I just never really feel the need to go on, to be honest with you. But I just love the plot, and so essentially it's about it's set in the future, and it's about a girl named Cinder. It is a Cinderella retelling, and she is a gifted mechanic and a cyborg, and she is kind of treated as a second-class citizen because she has some cyborg robotic parts, and she basically gets intertwined with someone in the royal family, and she has an evil stepmother and all that, and it's really interesting. So if you like retellings, I would really recommend this. This is a pretty popular book, so you may have seen this. I think this is the new cover. Well, again, I think it'll be backwards for you, but you can look it up. Cinder by Marissa Meyer, Meyer. Okay, I think I have 3 or 4 or 5 more books here, so let's just keep going. This one I actually just read recently. So I wrote a paper recently trying to get it published about library cats and the association between cats and humans around manuscripts and publications and books. And it was fascinating. I really learned so much about how humans have worked with cats and employed cats, if you will, for really thousands of years. So anyway, so I read this book in kind of in preparation, or as research, if you will, for that paper, and it's Dewey, the library cat. This, I actually may exchange this. Someone gave this to me as a gift, but I think this is actually like the youth version of it, but I read the actual like full adult version. But yeah, this seems shorter and has little pictures in it, but still cute, so I just may exchange it for the adult version. But this is by Vicki, Myron, with Bret, Witter, Myron is Myron, and Dewey is Dewey. I love cats, and so I thought this would be a fun title to read. And Dewey was a really famous library cat who lived in Iowa in the United States starting in the late 80s and then going into the 2000s. He was the library cat at a Spencer Public Library in Iowa, and he served there for a long time. And this story just chronicles his entire life from the time the library director found him almost frozen in their book drop in the middle of winter to the time he passed away in the mid 2000s. So it's a great book, very heartwarming. I cried my eyes out, honestly, but it was just so sweet how someone, how a little cat can just make such a difference in the world and bring joy to people and inspire people and things like that. So if you're looking for something heartwarming, I would highly recommend Dewey the Library Cat. It's just so sweet. If you like animals at all, I think this will touch your heart. So I would recommend this one. Okay, this is a book that I got in my, I'm in a book club, young adult book club, and we do a book exchange, kind of like a Secret Santa, every year, and this is what I got. So we were able to make a list, and then the Secret Santa would just pick from that list. So this is one of the books I put on there. I read this, I can't remember if it was this year or last year. This is science fiction. It's called The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James. And this is basically about a girl who is the only surviving crew member on a spaceship bound for a new planet. So she is very lonely. She's the loneliest girl in the universe, hence the title, until she hears that a new ship has been launched from Earth and is actually going to be able to meet her because it's going much faster and was able to catch up because it was launched after, and so they've evolved their technology and things like that. So she starts communicating with this other ship sporadically. It takes a long time for messages to come back and forth, but yeah, a romance ensues, but then it turns out things are not really what they seem. So this is great if you're a fan of science fiction. It's also pretty short, so it's not too heavy. I think I read it in a day or two, but this is great. I really liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't really my favorite, but I think I gave it like maybe 4 out of 5 stars. But very entertaining, and I loved the premise. The premise is awesome, and it really carries throughout the whole book. So it's not something, it didn't get worse or anything. It's just this is kind of an example of one of the books where I just feel like the teenagers kind of are making decisions that I'm like, okay, I would never do that, But then again, you have to really think about, okay, well, she's been raised on a spaceship, and she's the only person there because of some tragedy and things like that. So it's like you have to kind of cut her some slack, but still there's some stuff I was like, come on, why would you do that? Things like that. So yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna save my favorite for last. So let me see here. Okay, I mean, I love all of these, don't get me wrong. This is a book I've read many times. I think I've even talked about it here before, but it's called Graceling by Kristen Kishore. It is a fantasy novel in the Graceling realm universe. So it's one of, I think, 4 or 5 books. I think I've read almost all of them except for one, but I absolutely love this. It's basically about a girl, Katza, who is something called a Graceling, which is where she has kind of these powers, and they're rare, and they're kind of skills that someone has, and just goes about, I don't want to give too much away, but basically she is everything changes when she meets a foreign prince, and she has all these combat skills, and it's kind of a story about her fight for survival amidst some prejudice that people have against her for having these powers, and her journey to control them and things like that. So okay, sorry, my dog started barking. I didn't want it to keep being annoying. So yeah, they redesigned this cover recently, and I really love it for Graceling. I think it's so beautiful. So I actually have the old version, and then now I have the new version because I just love the cover so much. And this is the only book where I have 2 versions of it based on the different covers, but I absolutely love this book. I think I've reread the series twice, maybe. Besides, she came out with kind of a new book, and I haven't read that one in the series, but it follows different characters, so you can kind of get away with not reading the last one. But yeah, I would really recommend this series. It's really great. Kristen Kishore, Graceling. Okay, now second to last, I have so cool. I love it. And the back has all kinds of ingredients on it. But this is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, who is the author of The Poet X. You may have heard of that, super popular. But this is actually a book I listened to on audio, and I don't listen to a whole lot of audiobooks. I've been getting more and more into it because it's just so convenient. But yeah, this is about a girl who actually is, I think she's a junior or senior in high school, and she has a baby, and she has a baby when she's a freshman, but the story is set when she's a junior or senior, I can't remember. And so it's kind of dealing with her life as, you know, being a mother and raising her small child while she's in high school. She's still a child herself. And this girl, her name is, what is it? Oh yeah, Imani, and Imani loves to cook, and there is actually like a cooking kind of class competition kind of thing in Europe, and so it's her journey to deal with being a teen mother while also trying to follow her own dreams, pursue her own dreams. This is definitely contemporary fiction. It's not something I read a whole lot of, honestly, but I really enjoyed this. The characters are so likable, and I just found that Imani's world was so different from my own that I learned so much about what it might be like. You know, obviously she's a fictional character, but I just loved hearing her story and her resilience, her strength to just keep going. It was really inspiring, so I would really recommend this if you're looking to branch out into contemporary fiction. This is great. With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Okay, I actually lied. I forgot I put a couple books over here. So I have 3 more instead of 1 more. But this is one I got at a thrift store, which I was so happy about because I love this book. And then I saw there's $1. So this is We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. We Were the Lucky Ones. And this is such a beautiful novel. I've read it twice, actually. And basically it's about a family in, where are they? Are they in Poland? Somewhere in Europe. But it's basically it starts in 1939. You have 3 generations of a family. They are Jewish, and really just follows the family throughout World War II. And it's fascinating, the multiple perspectives that the author gives you, just to show you the breadth of experiences that people had during World War II, even within the same family, if they came from the same place and had similar backgrounds and things like that. So this is really a breathtaking novel that gives you a sweep of a lot of what happened during World War II to Jewish people and just to people in general. It has a great mix between character-driven moments and, you know, and plot is all there. So I love this novel. It means a lot to me, and I find myself wanting to go back to reread it again and again because it's just kind of a timeless story set within a period that I'm fascinated with and haunted by. So if you're looking for a historical novel, I would really recommend this. We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. And I'll try to put names and stuff to all the books I reference down below so you can find it if you can't understand me or I'm talking too fast or something, or you just want to reference it again. Okay, and actually, okay, so I did lie again. I forgot. This one I have not read yet, but this is The Ivies by Alexa Dunn. The Ivies, and so again, I have not read this, but Alexa Dunn is a YouTuber who makes a lot of book and writing related content, and she's written several novels. I think I've read all of her books except for this one, and I loved them. I love them. She's written science fiction primarily before, and this is her first thriller. So I think it's set at a prep school, and it's a thriller at a prep school. That's all I know. But I'm really excited to read this because I really love Alexa Dunn, and I love her content, and I really enjoy her writing. It's fun, and she has a great knowledge of the craft, so I would really recommend her. And if you're into writing, it's not ASMR or anything like that, but she makes great content, so I'll try to tag her here. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm really excited to talk about this book. This is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Isn't that cover so cool? I know it's backwards, but look it up. It's really cool. By Rebecca Roanhorse. I hope I'm saying that right. this is this first novel in a new epic fantasy series. This came out this year in 2021, and the next book is coming out in, I think, April. I'm really excited for it. And basically, it is inspired by the pre-Columbian Americas. So it has a lot of kind of native themes, motifs, if you will, and I believe the author is native herself. And that was one of my goals for this year, to try to read more by diverse authors. And basically, it's a dual perspective novel about kind of this myth of a god that will return at a certain period, and people speaking about it and things like that. That was actually the worst description I could have possibly given. I realize that, but let me just tell you why you should read this book if you like fantasy, or even if you don't. The characters are breathtaking, and this is such a subtle yet powerful novel. It's one of those novels that you just find yourself kind of rereading sentences, not because you didn't understand it, but because it's just worded so well and is so interesting that you find yourself wanting to re-immerse in the story and in the sentence structure that the author gives you. And it's fascinating. The world building is superb, but not overdone. You learn so much, and you find yourself wanting to know more and more and more about things, but you're also integrated very well into the world without being confused, or without her, kind of throwing too much at you at one time. And there is romance in here, but it is such a slow burn, and it's interesting. It's unlike so many romances that I read today, because these characters have all these different motivations, and it's fascinating. There are many cultures represented in this novel, and the author does a great job of not muddying things up. You really feel like you could walk into this world and understand what was going on. So yeah, it's really a fantastic novel, and if you haven't heard of this or read it, I would just highly recommend it. It's truly wonderful. It really is. I hope you'll give it a shot. But this is probably my favorite book of the year, and I can't wait for it to come out. Okay, that was it. That is I find that it's so quiet in here, in this house, whenever, I think about film. I think, okay, it's great, it's quiet, nice and quiet, and I can go film, and then, then everything happens. Okay, my dog Peanut wanted to join me for saying goodbye, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned about some books you want to read, pick up. These are some of my favorites of the year, and I'm really just blessed to have so many people in my life who know me and give me books to read that I love. So I'm really excited to organize these in my bookshelf. Hopefully one day I can give a bookshelf tour. If you go back to some of my earlier videos, you'll see my bookshelf in the background. I absolutely love it, but it's kind of a work in progress. I've gotten some books and I've gotten rid of some books, so I'm kind of redoing it a little bit, but hopefully this year I'll get something up for you so you can see it. But thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.